Hey everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm David Sugarman. I'm going to be your YouTube host today and your teacher. And what I'm going to do is take a video clip that I think can really suit you. Now, this is very good because first of all, it's from an interview and it's also from a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. And I'm sure you guys have all seen it. And if not, you definitely should. But what I'm going to do is go over the video clip. I have the subtitles there and you could look at those, but I want to critique the language. I want to critique how they speak. I want to also tell you why they say it, how they say it, and which tense they're using, so that way you're going to become a better speaker. And that's what it's about. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get started.
Gardner.
So notice how he introduces himself as Chris Gardner. He doesn't say my name is Chris Gardner, he just says Chris Gardner. This is a very formal way of introducing yourself in a business environment, especially in interviews.
How are you? Good morning. Chris Gardner. Chris Gardner, good to see you again. Chris Gardner, pleasure. I've been sitting out there for the last half.
Guys, notice how he says, I have been sitting there for the last half hour. At that point, he wanted to state and show that it was a period of time that continued up to a point of time. And he said, hey guys, you know what? I've been sitting out there. Now, he's not there anymore, but just because it just finished, it's still relevant and it's still very present. Yes, it's probably finished, but in this case, this is one of the uses of the present perfect progressive. Usually, you're going to hear him say, or you're going to hear people say, or you're going to hear me say, you know, I have been teaching you for now about 2 minutes. So I'm still teaching you. I have been teaching you, and you have been watching this video for about 2 minutes. So it's still going on, and let's move forward to the next thing he says.
Hour trying to come up with a story.
He also says trying to come up with, so it's the same thing, like I've been sitting and I've been trying and I've been thinking about what to say to you guys right now. So he's still in the moment, still present perfect progressive.
Story that would explain my being here dressed like this. And I wanted to come up with a story.
He says, and I wanted to come up with a story. That's the past simple. I wanted to come up with a story. So he's talking about how he wanted to, which is finished. It's done. Let's move forward. So that's the past simple.
That would demonstrate quality.
And he's saying that would. Notice, when he says, I wanted to, he continues with that I would, not that I will. So when you guys say something in the past, try to stay in the past. And when he says that would demonstrate qualities, he's not saying that will demonstrate qualities, because he's talking about would hypothetically. He imagined this. This was an imaginary situation, a hypothetical situation. So therefore, he says would. So let's continue.
That I'm sure you all admire here, like earnestness or diligence or team playing to something. And I couldn't think of anything.
Notice he says, I couldn't think of anything. He didn't say I couldn't to think. I hear a lot of my students saying in lessons, I couldn't to think. There is no to after could or can, okay? So you got to remember that. Let's move forward to the next one.
So the truth is, I was arrested for failure to pay parking tickets.
Parking tickets?
And I ran all the way here from the Polk station, the police station.
He says I was arrested. At this point, when he says I was arrested, this is the past simple passive. He was arrested by someone. He doesn't care who he was arrested by. He's stating that this happened. So there's no one that actually arrested him. So he says, I was arrested. That's called the past simple passive. Notice how a lot of things that he says is in the past because it's past simple. And one of the rules for past simple is sequence of events. So we're using a lot of verb twos, you know, for example, play, played, go, went, sleep, slept, eat, ate, watch, watched, you know, not go, gone, okay? We're not using the past participle. No, we're only using a verb two here, and I think this can help you.
What were you doing before you were arrested?
All right, interesting question here. He says, what were you doing before you were arrested? He uses the past progressive. So he wants to know what exactly he was doing at the point in time when he got arrested, because the past progressive uses a time that was in the past but wasn't yet finished but gets interrupted by something.
I was painting my apartment.
And now he says, yeah, at the time, you know, that happened, at the time I got arrested, I was painting my apartment. I was painting my apartment. He was still in the process. It's a longer action. He wasn't yet finished, and then something interrupted him, which was that somebody arrested him.
Is it dry now?
I hope so.
Jay says you're pretty determined.
Oh, he's been waiting outside the front of the building with some 40-pound gizmo for over a month.
Again, the present perfect progressive, we see it again. He goes, he's been waiting outside the front of the building. He's continuously doing it. Now, this could be all day, all week, all year. Those are some good times for you to know with the present perfect progressive. Those are key words. You should remember that. Here, he goes, he has been waiting outside the front of the building.
Outside the front of the building with some 40-pound gizmo
For over a month. He uses for over a month here. I have to add that in there. For over a month, that means it's still happening.
He said you're smart.
He said you're smart.
I like to think so.
And you want to learn this business.
Yes, sir, I want to learn this business.
Have you already started learning on your own?
Have you already started learning on your own? Here, he uses the present perfect, not the present perfect progressive. He says, have you already started? The word already here gives a good indication that we're using present perfect. So the word already can really help you when we're using the present perfect tense. So if you want to step it up a little bit, start saying, you know, have you already washed the dishes? Have you already seen that movie? Have you already been to work today? Have you already been to New York City in your life? Already is a key word for present perfect using the verb 3, okay? Or we can call it the past participle. We're moving forward. Let's see.
Absolutely.
Jay,
Yes, sir.
how many times have you seen Chris?
Here goes Jay. How many times have you seen Chris? Again, present perfect because he's using how many times. So guys, if you use how many times, you're allowed to use the present perfect and say, how many times have you seen this person? How many times have you seen this movie? How many times have you been to New York, right? We're saying how many times, so we're counting the number of times. It's repeated actions up until now with the unfinished time that's still going, which means how many times have you seen him today? How many times have you seen him this week? How many times have you seen him in your whole life? Continual times with repeated actions using the present perfect form.
You know, I don't know. One too many, apparently.
Has he ever dressed like this?
No. No. Jacket and tie.
Was he ever dressed like this when you saw him? He's talking about the past simple. Was he ever dressed like this? Again, past simple.
First in your class? In school? High school?
Yes, sir.
How many in the class?
12. It was a small town.
It was a small town. That's also past simple. Completed, done when he was in school. It's finished. He can't go back to it. So finished period of time with the finished action, past simple all the way.
I'll say.
But I was also first in my radar class in the Navy, and that was a class of 20. Can I say something? I'm the type of person, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what, I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer.
He's telling you, I'm the type of person, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer,
Question, and I don't know the answer.
I'm gonna, which means I will tell you. So he used present simple and then the future, which he used here was the first conditional.
I'm gonna tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what? I know how to find the answer, and I will.
When he says, I will find the answer, he's saying, I promise you that I will find the answer. So he's promising them. So when you use will, guys, that's called the future simple. And you say, I will do this, I will, whatever it is. I will plus the verb one. I will go, I will see, I will ask, I will find out. These are promises.
Is that fair enough?
Chris, what would you say if a guy walked in for an interview without a shirt on? And I hired him. What would you say?
Guys, he just used the second conditional. Again, he said it. It's in the second conditional, what you saw there. It's for imaginary situations, hypothetical situations. So notice how he says everything in the past, and then he uses would. He goes, what would you say? Not what will you say, what would you say?
He must have had on some really nice pants. He must have had on some really nice pants.
And everybody starts laughing. It is pretty funny, you know. I think it's pretty funny.